for our Thrifty Thursday segment, and today we are going to be talking about chalk paint and how easy it is to use. Now, Samantha earlier this year showed us how she refurnished and refurbished some older furniture by sanding it down and then painting it, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 days later, it was ready to go. Now, with chalk paint, completely different. Now, I did some research on chalk paint. It's actually been around for a really long time, but it's just now starting to gain popularity.
It's so funny how that always happens
with your do-it-yourself projects. And so I'm not that big on do-it-yourselfs because I don't have the patience nor the talent. So this was a project that I tackled because I wanted to reuse these, but I didn't like the way they looked when I bought them. So I bought this off a swap shop, and I actually bought a whole entire set. So I have a dresser, a nightstand, and a mirror, and it costs less than $50.
I think the important thing to point out here is that this isn't wood, so you can't sand it. So putting paint over top, it's not really gonna stay.
So this nightstand is half and half. So the top of the drawers and the top of it is this plastic, and on the sides is wood. And as you can see, it is all dinged up. Everywhere you see, there's chips and everything. And the nice thing about chalk paint is there's no prepping involved. So you don't have to sand it down. You don't have to do anything except wipe it down, clean it off, and then you start painting. And the nice thing about this, it has a matte finish. So at the end, this plastic will start looking more like a wood finish. So, and then you can go into more depth with waxing and distressing it and stuff like that. But I'm not doing that.
That's a whole process.
That's a whole process that I wasn't into. So the first thing I did was obviously wiped it down. And then I obviously took off the handles because you don't want to paint over these. And then with the handles, once we show the finished product, is I decided to keep them the way they are. I liked the way they looked. You can repaint them either with spray paint or using the chalk paint yourself. You can buy a different color if you like the little accent. But I like how it looks a little rugged and look a little antique-ish slash vintage. So I just took these off. Now, another thing that I found was when it comes to paintbrushes. Now, we bought this chalk paint at Walmart. And we bought a bundle of cheap
It came in a 5-pack. We thought we were doing good here, going a little bit cheaper.
So when I started off on the dresser back home, it literally was shedding on me. So do not use cheap paintbrushes, and I'm sure painters out there are probably like, duh, I should have said that the first time, right? So I found a more expensive paintbrush that I had laying around the house. Now, if you don't want to use a paintbrush, you can also use a roller, but make sure it's lint-free because you don't want it to pick up anything. And pretty much all you do is literally, after you wash it down, make sure it dries, use a paint tray. We didn't have one, so we're just using a paper plate. And you literally just go ahead and dip the paint.
Where do you want me to start first?
Go ahead and start on the front of the drawer.
Everything?
Yeah, just go ahead and paint everything.
Look at that.
And then the nice thing about this is this small little paint bottle, 8 ounces, this whole entire bottle lasted me for that big dresser that we'll show off in just a moment, and I was able to put 3 coats on there. Now with chalk paint, you can use 1 coat if you want, but because this is plastic and I didn't really want the white to show through, I did 2 to 3 coats, and also because I'm not that great of a painter with the whole strokes and everything, I kept repainting so you wouldn't see the strokes.
Now how did the paint hold up? Did it dry out when it was out, or does
towards
the heat
the end it did, because I did it in my garage, and I did it on Tuesday, so it was like 90 degrees. So towards the end, my paint was getting a little sticky and a little dry, but I was pretty much done, just doing some final touches. And again, with chalk paint, it's a matte finish, so again, you don't have to do anything afterwards unless you want to go ahead and distress it and sand it out if you want, and then use wax to go on it. And again, it has a finish as if it looks like wood.
It does.
So
it's nice to even out too. It's not too hard to kind of get the strokes in line.
So I'm going to go ahead and show a before picture of the dresser that I painted at home. I started painting and then realized I didn't take a before picture. So we only have some of the drawers in. And then, like I said, it took me less than 2 hours to paint that whole entire thing. Didn't have to sand it down or anything. Now here is another close-up of just what the drawers look like. And then here's the finished product. Again, I did not touch the handles. And it has a little gray hint to it. And there's different colors if you want to do bright, if you want to go more neutral.
Absolutely.
This was my first project that I did, so I didn't want to go a little too funky just in case I didn't like it. So again, less than 2 hours, have brand new furniture, and this little 8-ounce bottle can go a long way, and it costs less than $6.
Absolutely. I think this is the best way to go. Don't throw out your furniture and spend hundreds of dollars on new stuff. Just revamp it.
Really. And what I was also thinking is the gold trim right here, what I want to do is I'm going to sand it down after you're done painting to kind of show that little gold through it, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the wax that you can buy with the same material to protect it. And that way it doesn't scratch up. But there you go.
Very exciting.
So we have brand new furniture for less than, what, $6. So if you have something at your house that you want a little revamping, this is the way to go, especially if you don't want to do a lot of prepping, because trust me, I have no patience whatsoever. And the fact that you don't have to sand it down or anything is the way to go for me.
That was the biggest point of the sale for her.
It was. So you, on the other hand, are talented and are able to turn something that is really ugly into something that's magnificent.
Sometimes.